Ted Butler. Ted has recently returned from a sailing from Everett, Washington, 1,300 miles to San Diego, California. 18 days at sea brings a unique perspective to life. Movement becomes a baseline against all else what all else is measured. Here with a speech, the journey of Tropic Bird is developed.
Tropic bird, let me start by just letting you know that this bird doesn't have feathers, it has sails. And I'll continue painting that picture for you to give you an idea of what type of boat I had the opportunity to spend so much time on. It's made by a shipbuilder called Beneteau, a French shipbuilder, known for their incredible combination of luxury and performance. It was a very pretty boat, and it went very fast. And it was 41 feet long. 41 feet long may seem like a great distance, but with 3 crew members and 18 days, at 41 feet got smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. But the good news is I was blessed with 2 outstanding crew members, and we had a tremendous adventure. They say that a journey is defined by its first step. For us, our journey was defined not by a first step, but by our first tank of fuel. I said sailboat, did I not?
Yes.
Fuel is only used when there isn't enough wind, or the wind is coming from an inappropriate direction. And that's how we started our adventure. We left early the morning of August 22nd at dawn, and we motored out through salmon fishermen in Puget Sound, entering the Strait of Juan de Fuca with the goal of reaching Tatoosh Rock sometime before dark, where we could make a gigantic left-hand turn heading south and picking up what should be, based on 100 years of nautical records, 96% of the time, strong winds out of the north. Guess what percentage Tropic Bird found themselves in as we turned that corner? Yeah, that 4%. What we were met with, instead of having these wonderful winds coming from behind us to push us down to San Diego, the exact opposite, 180 degrees, 15 to 20 knot winds, straight on the nose. Now yes, we could tack into the wind. That's called beating. Beating derives its name from the pounding of the boat going into the waves. And it is not a very pleasant way to spend a lot of time, especially for the amount of ground gain distance-wise to the south, because you have to go way off to the west and then way off to the east as you're tacking to make that ground up. So we decided, after a full day of pounding into the wind, to seek shelter at a lovely little Indian fishing village called La Push, right in the center of the west coast of the state of Washington. And La Push is a fishing town. And that's about all that it is. There's a little motel there with some cabins on the beach. There's a community center, a church, a little restaurant, a Coast Guard center, and fishing boats. We arrived, and it was after the marina had closed. No slips to be had. We tied up to the fuel dock. Woke early the next morning to find out that there were really no slips for us to take. And so we were able, after talking to the dock master, to find a tuna boat that had left, and we could take their mooring spot for a short period of time. We had no idea how long that time would be at this point. We were waiting for the winds to change. And change they did, but not for 3 days. So we got to start our journey with kind of a half step, getting out of Puget Sound in the Strait of Wanapauca, turning left, and then stalling, literally, in La Push. But La Push had for us some really wonderful, wonderful gifts. We had stumbled upon an incredible little restaurant that was manned by people from a restaurant actually in Forks, which is the next closest largest town inland. It's also where they filmed Twilight, or where the Twilight saga takes place. Interesting to know they did no filming in Forks, yet droves of people still come there looking for Twilight, and they've got all sorts of Twilight memorabilia. It's really quite funny. They say that the tourists get quite upset. But we also had a great opportunity to spend time at an incredible church service, explore some beautiful coastline. But winds changed. We were able to make our ways out of La Push and start heading south, only to get as far as Westport, which is about a day down the coast, when the winds really started getting strong. And we're talking 30 plus knots straight out of the south. So we had to spend an extra day in Westport. Finally, out of Westport, we started having less strong winds, still motoring. And all I can say is that life on a sailboat at many times can be defined by movement. Ideally, you have a gentle swaying from the swell that's usually out of the west, almost like a mother rocking a babe in her arms. Beating into the wind or motoring into the wind. The waves are steeper, they're wind waves in addition to the swell, and it's this pounding, 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 almost whiplash, nonstop, 24 hours a day, day after day. The droning of the diesel engine behind you, and it's not the most fun. It gets more fun, though, when the wind starts to pick up and change direction a little bit, and you get cross wave action. So you have the swells coming from one direction, and then you'll have wind waves maybe coming from a quarterly direction, and you get this corkscrew motion, where you go up and down and sideways, up and down and sideways. I'm blessed to not be prone to seasickness. Unfortunately, my true crew members were not. I got to pull a lot of extra watches because of their malady. But needless to say, it brings us to, sadly, only halfway through my incredible journey. I'm going to have to leave the rest of my story about Tropic Bird's epic flight to San Diego until my next speech. But until then, sail well.